Hey guys, how's it going? Well, we had a good time playing Name That Ride again, and had a lot of good guesses on this time around. But the only unfortunate part about this is that they were all wrong. What this is the 1998 Infiniti Q45T, and here it is. No, I'm only kidding. This is a car I've had already. But anyway, though I did have a lot of good guesses on this Name This Ride episode, and I was impressed because most of you latched on right away that it's some sort of a Toyota, and that's right, it is some sort of a Toyota. I had a lot of guesses about it being an early 90s 4Runner, and I'm going to give everybody that said that partial credit, because from what you can see in a video, there are very, very, very close similarities between that vehicle being a 4Runner and what I have here. So we'll look at that in a little bit. So I'll give you partial credit, but it's not a 4Runner, not a 4Runner of any type. And had some guesses about it being a Tacoma. It's not a Tacoma. It's not a Toyota, Hilux pickup, the pre-Tacoma pickup. It's not an SUV, so kind of only leaves one choice. As far as being Toyota. So people said, well, they thought it was a Tundra, and I kind of intentionally tried to throw people off on that. I said something about Musty One. He's in New Hampshire, my subscription. And everybody knows that's seen Musty One's videos that he has a Tundra. And so I knew that would throw some people off, and it did. It's not a Tundra. Dashboard's different from a Tundra. So, however, I'll tell you in a minute why that I mentioned that. There's some grain of truth in that, as a matter of fact. So what is it? If it's not all that, then it can only be one thing, and three of you got it correct. It's not a Honda Pilot either. It's not any kind of Honda. It's also not a 99 Buick Century. I don't know what to say about that guess, but so what is it? Well, it is a 1997 Toyota T100 pickup. Skinny cab, two-wheel drive. And I had collected some money up, and I had been in the mood to look for a Toyota truck, because I've had a Toyota truck before and had real good luck with them. I just really got tired of not having a second vehicle that I could just jump in and drive and usable for being a truck and that kind of thing. We've tried the full-size heavy-duty pickup route, and that didn't work either. I didn't like driving it. And then we tried to restore a pickup route, and that didn't work either. So I just wanted something that was kind of lighter duty, and something that if this vehicle ever goes down, which it has the potential to at any time, it's many miles on it, then I could just jump in and drive everywhere I need to go. So that said, Toyota pickups here in the South are gold. They're hard to find in good shape if you don't want to pay a ton of money for them. So I started digging around, and by the way, if you're wondering where the money came from, yes, I sold the 79 Chevy pickup, and yes, I sold the Focus. Finally, it's out of here. So we'll talk more about the truck a little bit later on, the 79, but it found a new home. I got $900 for it. I got $1,800 for the Focus, which is no longer here. So I had about $2,900 to spend. About $3,000. I kicked another $100 in with it. So I had $3,000 cash to spend, and so I started looking around online and stuff, and just looking on the sides of the roads. And basically what it came down to down here for $3,000 does not get you much of a Toyota of any type, unless you want one that's real old or one that's real beat up. So looked on Craigslist, just didn't find anything worth having. You can find a 4Runner, but I didn't want a 4Runner because they're just not what I wanted. So looked around. Auto Trader was out. There's a few here and there, but they're way away from here. Huntsville, let me just tell you this. Huntsville and this surrounding area, I don't know why, but it is a purgatory for used vehicles as far as being listed on autotrader.com. I don't know if all the car dealers here in Huntsville and the surrounding areas just got together and decided, you know, somehow that they were never going to use AutoTrader, but you hardly ever can find anything around here on AutoTrader. It's been my experience. So, where I found this thing at, I found this in the most unlikely spot, sitting at the end of a kind of a shabby mechanic shop that had a few other little used vehicles out. So it was sitting there, so had been sitting there. I saw it for a few weeks and stopped in talking about it, found out how much I wanted for it, looked it over. So we'll look it over together. This is a 97. It's got about 218,000 miles on it. No rust. It's two-wheel drive. You can't find a four-wheel drive down here for that kind of price. It's a nice set of Michelin tires on it. It's got a nice, this is well, you can call them what you want, but we always called them lids. I used to work for this company for a brief period of time, and I installed these things. So this was put on, somebody had this put on this truck, but we called them lids. You have to take it in and have it order it, and then they have it constructed and painted. We'll deliver it back on the special truck. But anyway, that's another story for another time. So it's got a lid on it. I like that. These things are not cheap either. So the bed liner, a Toyota bed liner. It's got this pretty neat, looks like somebody made this divider in here. And I think the guy that had this truck sometime back took it, pulled a boat and stuff with it. It's probably what part of this is, but so it's got a hitch. It's got a nice Reese hitch on it under there. Now, this truck does not say SR5 on it, so I don't know if it actually is one or it's a deluxe. My thinking is that it's a deluxe. It's just got a lot of options on it because it doesn't say SR5. And there's been some questions on the internet about what this means, this Titan thing on here. This has been seen on other T100s, and this one has it also. Somebody actually said, well, that's just a something somebody got at a parts store. It's not. So it's got mud flaps. Pretty straight truck. I was suspicious when I first looked at it. I noticed that it had been painted up here. When you've seen cars that are painted, you know what to look for. And I saw this, and I saw that. And my first assumption, which was incorrect, was that it had been piled up in the front, but it has not. It's never been wrecked. And I'll show you in a minute how I know that. Well, I'll just tell you, it's got the Toyota puts VIN number stickers on their fenders and their hoods and everything, so it's got all those. So what I think the deal is, it's actually just been painted from the stripe up, like along the door. It's been painted here. It's been all the way back, because you can see they kind of a cheap job, I guess. Kind of made a nice sand mark right there. So I figure what's happened is it had some clear coat fading on it. So either a dealership or an individual had it painted to fix that. So it's not been wrecked, so that was a good thing. I looked at this thing a couple different times. I got under it on my creeper and went stem to stern on it. I'll open it up here. Notice that. But I was surprised when I looked at this truck. I'd seen several on the internet, and most of them don't have many options on it, but this truck has air conditioning. Got cruise control, intermittent wipers. It's got the gauges. I don't think they all, except the base models, but don't have that. It's got power windows, power door locks, standard radio. It does not have bucket seats. It has just a standard 60/40 seats on it. And this is what probably, sorry the wheels is in kind of a weird spot, but this is what fooled everybody about the 4Runner. This gauge cluster is almost exactly like an early 4Runner gauge cluster, early 90s. And so it looks a lot like that, except I don't think the 4Runners had the shifter indicator up here like that. It's got tilt wheel, got the original mats and everything still in it, front and rear. So the truck itself's in pretty good shape, I think. Drives good, runs good. And I was looking through the papers on it. I know it's got Hoover Toyota on the back of it, but that's not where it was sold new at. And I saw, notice it had this in it. This is a wheel lock. And its keys in there somewhere. But it's got that in it. It's got its books in it. Evidently, at some point, it was a Toyota certified used vehicle. And all that stuff. So basically, that's a lot of bogus crap, probably. But, well, I won't say bogus, but just something to get more money out of people. There's a receipt in here for 97 Toyota T100 R&R intake and valve cover gaskets, antifreeze parts. So they had to put valve cover gaskets on because you have to take the intake, upper intake off. But it's got all its books. It's got the Toyota Owner's Manual Supplement Part 2. It's got the notice this vehicle equipped with wheel locks. So that tells you that these wheels came on here originally, and we're about to find out how. Some of you already know this. Got the radio instructions. So I was delighted to find the original window sticker in here. And the reason, I'll show you why, that I think that it's just a deluxe. Doesn't really matter, but dropped it. So anyway, just kind of runs through and shows you it's standard equipment. It's an extra cab, and I'm not going to go through all this, but you know, it's got, I don't know, some of you may know more about this and tell me. It looks like it's got a lot of standard options, because it's got an automatic, this standard, it's got front and rear mud guards, full wheel covers, dual outside mirrors, that's tilt out rear view clock and fuel door, full pile carpeting, door digital clock, all that stuff. So I don't know if that would be on a SR5 or not, but over here you start getting into some optional stuff on it. This truck is Sierra Green Metallic and Moon Mist is what this color is in here, I guess. So in here, optional equipment's got cruise control, it's got a power package, includes power windows, door locks, and outer mirrors. 48 state emissions requirement. Extra value package includes chrome package, chrome rear bumper, air conditioning, sliding rear window, privacy glass, tilt wheel, variable wipers, carpeted floor mats, body side moldings, all of which it has. And then over here, this is something, some added stuff tacked onto it. Southeast Toyota Distributors, seen that before. Distributors installed options, remote security system, the SET, I guess that must mean something. I think I've seen other trucks that look just like this one. This must be something from Southeastern Toyota. I guess that's what that means. SET savings package, which is 4 Yankee wheels with locks, AM, FM, MPX with cassette, 2 speakers. What's that? Yes. Bed liner, sports accident stripe, Toyo guard protection group, exterior paint sealing with Teflon. That's a rip off. Interior fabric protector. That's also a rip off. Don't ever pay for stuff like that. Undercoating, sound shield, glass etch, more Toyo guard. So $1,400 worth of options they put on it. And Toyota used to do things, they may still do them. When my mother bought a Celica, they used to do things called Toyota-thons. and that's where they bring a bunch of new cars, new Toyotas, to a big large spot and run a sale on them. So let's take a look under the hood. Sorry for the camera work here. Gonna have to kind of do this without dropping it. So anyway, this thing passed my inspection with flying colors. Once I saw the VIN sticker here and the VIN sticker there and the VIN sticker up here, I knew this thing had not been wrecked. But I did see something right away that made me chew them down on the price a little bit, and they readily admitted to this. And it's something that's going to kind of cause me a little bit extra work to rectify. But if you notice right here, you see this dipstick up here? Well, this dipstick's not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be on the side over here on the T100. It's supposed to be right down in here. And that told me right away this engine's been changed. This is the engine out of a 4Runner or a Tacoma. And they said yes, they had put an engine in it. This engine's supposed to have 125,000 miles on it. Who knows if that's correct? Who knows? But anyway, so it's had another engine put in, and so but the engine runs good. It's clean inside. I don't see any problems with it. But I'm just gonna have to fix that dipstick, because what it is they had to change the Tacoma and 4Runner has a front sump pan. T100 uses a rear sump like a Chevrolet small box, so the dipsticks have to match, because this one won't read the oil the correct level, won't go where it's supposed to. That's what you can figure that out, but that's what's going on with it. So it's had another engine put in it, but like I said, it seems to run good, so I don't see a problem. It's been cleaned up. It's had a little bit of black paint put under the hood and that kind of crap. It's been had all the protected shine stuff, so. But it looks straight, drives good, runs good, so I'm happy with it. I'm real happy because that I picked this truck up for $3,000 cash, and I don't think I could have done much better anywhere else for what I got. Been nice to have been a 4-wheel drive, but I don't absolutely have to have one. So the only thing it's got that it'll need is it's got a badge missing right there. The center mounted light doesn't work. I checked the bulbs, don't know what's up with that. And the oil gauge is dead. Now the oil gauge being dead with no oil pressure reading on the oil gauge at all, that was about to kill the deal for me, but I sat here and ran it and made sure I saw oil up here and it sounds good. It would have blown up already if it didn't have oil pressure. So anyway, that's about it. That's the tour. And it was down to this or a Camry like the neighbors got over there. It was an 01 Camry, but it had 258,000 miles on it, on the original engine. And those Camrys, they're good cars, but that 5S FE engine in it, those things are, if they ever get run low of oil, they're known to be a rod thrower. And they have a tendency to run low oil sometimes. They've got a couple different things go on with them. I'm not saying they're a bad engine. I've seen a bunch of them with a ton of miles on them, but they can also sludge. So I wasn't too crazy about that. So I'm glad I chose the truck. You see a lot of Camrys in the junkyard that have missing the engines. So that tells you right away they got a bad problem with blowing the motors up in them. So anyway, all right guys, well this is a tour. So thanks for watching, and if it's like this one, there's probably not going to be many videos on this at all, because it just never has to have anything done. This one's going to have some work done on it, though. It's had a ongoing radiator leak and a couple other minor things with it, but it just, so far this car's just ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. The only thing, the major problem with one of these Infinitis is the fact that they get such bad word of mouth from people that think they're expensive to fix and they're going to break down. Bull crap. See you guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.